So let's start with a question right over here.
Yeah, it's Clay Hall with ABC 6, Fox 28 in Columbus. How hopeful are you guys that you'll get some help on Friday with Kyle Young and Zed Key?
Joe, you want to start with that one?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we want him to play, and but at the end of the day, that decision's not really up to us, and we're rooting for him. We want him back on the court with us, and we'll see how that all plays out.
Griffin Strom with 11 Warriors. For Jamari and Joey, for you guys to have such a long, college career, obviously, and this be your first NCAA tournament game, does this feel like a true culmination and payoff after your guys' long career? And is this the moment that you kind of came to Ohio State for?
Jamari, you can start.
Yeah, absolutely. When we first got selected, I don't think I didn't sleep that night. I was just so excited and ready to play, and just like a dream come true, and I'm glad I'm here.
Go ahead, Joey.
Yeah, I mean, my first 2 years at Butler, we went to the tournament, and I didn't play, but I was able to be a part of it, and obviously makes this weekend a little bit sweeter, just thinking about the time and effort, and how bad you wanted to have an opportunity to play in it. So.
Stokes, 97.1 The Fan. This is a question for Jamari, just a backup. I know you're excited about your first time playing in the tournament. Well, what are you trying to do to kind of calm the nerves and make sure you're running your team?
Just take it day by day. Just learn from the guys that already been here and competing here, but just go out there and do what I do best. Like, don't overthink it, don't overdo it. Just go out there and have fun at the end of the day and win how many games we can win.
EJ, you've been the best player on this team for a couple years now, and it's kind of odd that you've only played in one NCAA tournament game. For you, you have experience in the tournament, but you really don't have a lot of experience compared to some of the other guys that are playing in this tournament. What is it like for you to kind of think about that, to be one of the best players in the country, but only have one game of NCAA tournament experience?
Happy I'm back here. Happy I had the opportunity to play in the tournament again. And I mean, like I said, it's a collective effort, collective group effort, and hope everybody's healthy for come Friday, so we all come to play ready to compete. So I'm looking forward to that, and everybody being ready to go. So.
Adam Jardy, Columbus Dispatch. EJ, along those same lines, with all the things you've accomplished in your career, having an opportunity here to put together a postseason run, when you think about what you want to accomplish at Ohio State and legacy you want to leave, what would an NCAA tournament run mean to you?
I mean, a lot, honestly. To leave my names in the Ohio State's fans' minds, and just my legacy here is going to mean a lot, honestly. Got to go win some games first. Have to win some games. That's my thing. I love winning games, no matter how much I score, or even if I don't score, we win a game, I'm proud. So.
EJ, Colin Gay, Rivals. Is there a pressure? Like, is there an increased pressure knowing that this may be your last one? This is your last run at this. I mean, was that at the back of your mind, like heading into this week, or what has that been like for you?
No, I just enjoy the moment. I live in the moment. I have fun with it, and I'm looking forward to it. Like Jamari said, I'm really excited for this. I've been excited to come into practice and work, get ready to play. So.
Craig Meyer from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. This question is for Jamari. I mean, there was a time, I guess this is going back about 5 years back, when you were signed to play at Duquesne, just a couple blocks from here. I mean, I know y'all just got in here, but what's the experience been like being in Pittsburgh so far, where this is a city where you could have easily ended up, and how often, if at all, do you think about how your life and career might have turned out differently had you stayed with that choice?
Like you said, just being back here is kind of like funny how life just all coming in full circle and things like that. But right now I'm just focused, locked in on personnel and just winning games at this point. Like it all didn't hit me yet, as I think it's going to hit me like once the season over with. But right now I'm just locked in, focused on winning.
Jim Masson from 25 News in Peoria for EJ. EJ, I want to ask you briefly about two people. Malachi Smith, how excited are you for his success and him being here? And Ryan Peden, who's going to be our head coach at Illinois State University. What should Illinois State fans know about him, and how ready is he?
About Malachi, me and him known each other since we were kids. We played football, probably third grade. So I've known Malachi my whole life. We won a state championship together. And I'm happy he's having a successful career at Chattanooga. He started off at Wright State, but this year he's been one of the best players in the nation. I mean, efficient and just playing well. So happy for him. And Coach Peden, he recruited me to Illinois State. He's just a great guy. hasn't changed one bit since I got here. He just cares about his kids. I mean, he looks at us as it's like his kids. It's like he tells us like we're his family basically. So you should look for a well-caring guy, and he's gonna be a good coach. So.
For EJ, Dave Mackel, Pittsburgh Tribune Review. You know, obviously, when you're playing in a season, you're focused on doing the best and trying to get your team to this tournament. But how does it play in when your name's mentioned in the NBA draft? You know, and how does that motivate you?
I mean, that's cool stuff. Honestly, that's a dream of mine that I have. But like I said, I've truly, honestly, just been living in the moment. I have fun every single second I'm with these guys. I enjoy my day, and when that stuff happens, it happens. But right now, I'm just enjoying life and enjoying the moment and living in it. So.
This question's for all three of you. Zach Miller from the Loyola Phoenix. I just want to ask, you know, as you're watching film, what are some of the intangible things that you look out for with Loyola?
Joey, you can start.
I mean, I think off the you know, from the start, it's their toughness that they play with, and you know, they compete at a high level, and you know, you have to be ready for that. You know, as soon as the game starts.
Go ahead, EJ.
It's an experienced group. They have a lot of guys who play in the NCAA tournament, won a lot of tournament games, and I mean, they have a collective group effort. So I mean, we know they're gonna come out and play really, really hard. So got to match their intensity.
Jamari.
Yeah, we know also like they hang their hat on the defensive end, so just know it's gonna be a grinded out game through the whole 40 minutes of it. So just be ready to win every possession, because every possession gonna matter.
Will.
Will Graves, Associated Press. Guys, when Loyola was in here, they were still kind of talking about how they perceive themselves as, quote, the small school. I'm curious, though, when you look at their resume, maybe, Joey, you can speak to this, having been at Butler. I mean, what are your impressions of them? Has it changed, obviously, from maybe what you thought it was a few years ago? And do you see any similarities between what they're trying to do versus Butler, Gonzaga, those type of schools?
Yeah, I mean, I think they've been as consistent as anybody, you know, the last couple of years, and you know, there's kind of that deal of, you know, being the smaller school and trying to, you know, say that they can compete and deserve to compete, and they've, you know, proven that, and they're as capable and as good a team as anybody else in this tournament. That's not like a big school versus small school thing. Like, if you make it the NCAA tournament, you're pretty damn good for a reason. So like, there's nobody, you know, like really questioning that. I think especially now nationally with Loyola.
Hi, Luke Alzada from the Loyola Phoenix. This is a question for really any of you. You know, now that you've had a chance to kind of look at some film at Loyola and study them a bit more, who do you see as kind of some key players, and how do you plan to, you know, kind of shut them down?
EJ, why don't you start?
The guard, Lucas Williamson. I mean, obviously he's been here for a while. He was on the Final Four team, I believe. So just looking at guys like him, everybody on the team, they just play really hard. Guys who come off the bench, we have to know what they do. But, I mean, it's a group effort. I feel like they aren't selfish at all. They share the ball and they play to win. So, like, small school mentality, they have that underdog mentality. And, I mean, they come out and shown it for the past couple of years.
Bill Landis from The Athletic. EJ, we talk a lot about Kyle Young and all the different ways he impacts winning, but if you look at some of the on-off numbers for him in terms of how he impacts your defense, they're kind of staggering, just how much better you guys are when he's available to play. What is it about him on that end of the floor that allows him to give you guys such a lift?
Just a leader. He plays hard. I mean, everybody knows Kyle. He's always in the play. That's why he probably gets hit in the head so much. But, I mean, he just plays really hard. Love when he's on the floor because, I mean, he brings that older guy mentality, just talking and just being active. So.
Steve Means, Cleveland.com. EJ, not to bring up last year again, but not necessarily how the game ended, but just your performance in your first NCAA tournament. What did you take from that, both the good, the bad, and the ugly, that maybe you can apply this time around?
Yeah, even though we lost, I mean, I had a great experience. I mean, the time before that, spending time with the guys in the hotel, because, I mean, COVID last year, we were in the hotel the whole time. But, I mean, it was a great experience, honestly. I just going to learn from that Friday, tomorrow. I mean, I'm going to come back out with the same energy, same effort. Hopefully we have some healthy guys available to play, but, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, I haven't forgot about that, and I'm ready for it. So.
Jacob Bench with the Lantern, EJ, and really for any of you guys, we talked with Malachi Branham yesterday, and he mentioned how he's excited for his first NCAA tournament appearance. just because you guys have that veteran experience, how have you seen Malachi approach the NCAA tournament, maybe a little bit differently than the Big Ten tournament or regular season play, just from your vantage point?
He's an everyday guy, honestly. Comes into practice, same mentality, practices hard, and he's excited. We was talking about it yesterday. I told him I was like super excited. He was like, man, I can't wait to play. So tomorrow we're all gonna be ready to play and all gonna be ready to compete at a high level.
Jamari, with this week of practice that you've had, what have you personally been able to work on? What do you think as a team you've been able to accomplish that you've had a couple of days to work together?
I would say just tighten our defense up. We focus on that a lot. Something we control and just bring energy and just going over the scout report, things like that. Just really just focus on ourselves, really. Like just competing every day, coming in with great energy, and everybody just excited just to be in the tournament. So practice was really fun this week. Definitely felt like a first week of practice.
When you were leaving Penn State, Jamari, you have 1 year of eligibility left. What was, so one final chance at college basketball. What about Ohio State appealed to you? What was it about that program, about that school that ultimately sold you?
Just everything, just how it's the family environment, the players, the locker room, the culture. And that's just something I was looking into for my next school, and also just being here where I'm at now. I want to help lead my team till March Madness. So just being able to be on the stage right now, like, I feel like a dream came true, and also just want to play with players like EJ, Joey, KY, things like that. So just going through that whole process again, I feel like Ohio State was the best decision for me, and at the end, I'm glad I picked here.
Steve Helwagen with 24/7 Sports. A question I have for any of you, obviously the last 3 weeks didn't go the way anybody would have wanted it for Ohio State. I think 4 losses last 5 games. How has Coach Holtmann, in your mind, held up through this stretch and tried to keep spinning this thing forward in a positive manner, and now the opportunity you have going into this? Just your thoughts on how he's handled this.
Joey, you can start on that.
I mean, I definitely think there's a balance between learning from what happened and also being able to turn the page and being positive, because there's still season left. And I think our coaching staff and Coach Holt have done a good job of kind of finding a balance between those two things. And we want to improve, but we also know that there's still opportunity in front of us. And it's important perspective to have, that that it's not necessarily all doom and gloom, despite a few tough nights.
EJ, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, we've had the same approach, honestly, like Joey said, but it's not like the season was over. Rough couple weeks, but we had to all buy in. I mean, we made it to March Madness, and now we have to prove ourselves. Honestly, we have to have that underdog mentality, because I feel like a lot of people have been counting us out recently. So I feel like people forgot about how we play when we're fully healthy and we're all locked into everything. So come tomorrow, y'all see a different team.
Thank you, gentlemen. All right, joined by Ohio State head coach Chris Holtmann. Reminder, questions for him, please give your name as well as your affiliation. We'll start with an opening statement from Coach, and then we'll get into the questions.
Yeah, it's great to be here. Obviously great to be a part of this unbelievable tournament, the best sporting event in the world. I've said that for 7 years now. It's the best sporting event in the world. I really believe that. It's the most dramatic, exciting few weeks, and we've been a part of some great wins and some tough losses, and that's part of March Madness. That's why they call it March Madness. So we're thrilled to be a part of it. Obviously, our guys have earned this opportunity. We're playing an outstanding team, an outstanding program in Loyola. Got tremendous respect for what they've done, how hard their kids play, how physical they are. I think they're as hard as playing and as physical as any team We played all year. They're really as good as any team we played all year. There's no question about it. They've got older guys who are really good players, tremendous culture, well coached. So it's a great challenge for us here. It's certainly as challenging as first game as I've been a part of. So we're excited for it. I know our guys are. We're getting healthier. We'll know more on Kyle and Zed here tomorrow, but they are getting healthier. The final decision will be made tomorrow.
Strom with 11 Warriors. Coach, with Drew being a first-year head coach in the NCAA tournament, I'm just wondering what you remember about your first experience being a head coach in the tournament, handling the pressure in the moment, and then maybe how your approach has kind of changed over the years with repeat appearances and going into this year as well.
Yeah, I think actually my first appearance was here. I think we beat Texas, and then lost to Notre Dame. If I've got that right, I think it was in this arena. The Notre Dame game was an overtime loss, a really tough one. I can remember just about every play in the final last few minutes. I think it's just, I think you're really focused on your team, coaching your team, getting your guys prepared. That's really what it's about. It's not, obviously it's a big stage, but it's not any different than, I'm sure he's working hard to prepare his team. He's got a veteran group that's been here that's very experienced in these kind of games. And I know that always helps when you have that. When I coached my first year, we had a couple guys that had played in the tournament, actually several guys, and that helped me. I know that always helps when you have that level of experience.
Adam Jardy with the Columbus Dispatch. We just heard from EJ, and he said, I feel like people forget how we played when we were fully healthy and locked in and everything. Do you remember what you play like when you were fully healthy? And if you do, what does that look like, and could that look like this time of year?
Yeah, we played well. We played really well when we didn't always play well, but most times we played really well and had some great wins and played really well in stretches. And I think that's, and we're talking about fully healthy given the fact that, we also had a couple season-ending injuries. But when we had our group that was available, I think we had some really good stretches of play. And I think our guys remember that. At the same time, listen, it's a challenge in front of us to play well, whatever the case is regarding our injury situation. That's the challenge in front of us.
Zach Miller with the Loyola Phoenix. I just wanted to ask, you mentioned the physicality of the team, but what are some of the other intangibles you're looking out for when you're coming into a game like this against Loyola?
Well, I just think, listen, I think their experience is tremendous. They've been through these games. They've been, played in the Final Four. They've been through a number of these games. They beat the number one seed from our league last year to go to the Sweet 16. So I think they've got out their experience, but they also have very, very good players, very talented team. Williamson's going to play in the NBA. They've got very good players. So, and they're older. I know they added some transfers that have been really helpful for this group and really important. They've got great athleticism, really good team.
Hey, Coach Clay Hall, ABC 6, Fox 28. Not to belabor this, but do you see Kyle and Zed increasing their workload each day? Are they able to do more? For instance, in your workout this morning?
We have seen them do a little more, Clay. But it's not like they've been able to do full practices. But they have been able to do a little more, which has been encouraging to see, despite not being able to do full practices.
Colin Gay, Rivals. I'm curious, after the Michigan game, you were talking about the one in Ann Arbor. You were talking about how E.J. Liddell kind of carried or kind of set the tone defensively. Guys do, and I'm curious, especially heading into this stretch, this tournament, does he kind of take initiative, that leadership, like kind of where he goes, you guys go? Has he kind of felt that weight heading into his final tournament? Or?
Yeah, you're talking about the win on the road there. Yeah, I think he showed good leadership, And but it's got to be more than just him that carries the leadership load. And I think we've, Kyle's not a super vocal guy, but we've missed his leadership kind of on the floor and his steadiness on the floor. And I think EJ's missed that when he's been out. Jamari's done a good job, and Justin has, but EJ's taken he's certainly taken a major role in that.
Will.
Will Graves, Associated Press. Chris, do you see any similarities with where Loyola is at now, where Butler was 15, 20, 25 years ago? I mean, the train was moving when you got there because of what Brad had done in Tad.
Yeah.
But I mean, in what impresses you? I mean, do you get the sense by watching them their success is not tied to one player or one coach like you find with some teams that kind of bubble up and kind of float back down?
Yeah, great similarities. Great similarities. And I think Porter deserves tremendous credit for that because he built that. And I know he struggled in his first, I think, whatever it was, 5 or 6 years maybe. But he and his staff deserve great credit for that. Great similarities. Older teams, really tough guys, tremendous culture. And they're as good as any team in the country. I think we understand that now. I don't think they have a label. Obviously, they're joining the A10. It's not like they're quote unquote mid-major. They're a really, really good program that has had a ton of success, NCAA tournament success. But yeah, I mean it's one of those really elite programs in the country, and they've earned that.
Hi, Luke Calzada from the Loyola Phoenix. So you talked a little bit about what it's going to be like to play Loyola, and obviously, they're known for what a strong defense they have. From a coaching perspective, what are going to be some of your keys for having your players really break through that defense?
Yeah, I think there's a resolve you have to have. You understand there could be some clunky possessions. They're really good defensively, as good as any team we've played all year, maybe the best defensive team we played all year. So you're going to have to weather some potential scoring droughts, and you're going to have to be tough-minded enough to weather that because they're that good defensively.
Craig Meyer from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. When you brought in Jamari Wheeler, Chris, I mean, what sort of expectations did you have for him as far as the role that he'd fill for y'all, and how has he lived up to those expectations and hopes that you had for him?
Yeah, Jamari's been great. We initially brought him in expecting that our guy that's with the Indiana Pacers, Dwayne Washington, would be back. We went after Jamari right after the season last year, so it was really quick. And we just anticipated Dwayne so we thought it'd be a great component there to kind of a scoring-minded two-guard and then a guy that could really ball hawk. Obviously, Dwayne stayed in the draft, so Jamari's had to pick up a little bit of offensive load. He's done a good job. I think he's been able to kind of be Jamari for us, and we're certainly going to need that tomorrow.
Bill Landis from The Athletic. Chris, I know Kyle, when he's available, impacts you guys in myriad ways, but I'm wondering what makes him so effective on the defensive end for you. You look at the on-off numbers there. When he's available, you guys are just a much better defensive team. Is it versatility, or is there more to it than that?
I think it's activity, for one. He's really active, and it is versatility. It's activity and versatility, and then he helps our rebounding a lot too. I think those two things. He's also, gotten smarter as he's gotten older and how to defend and play. But just the versatility that he provides. I feel like I've banged that drum for, months now. I think that's really important. But his activity is pretty good too when he's playing like Kyle.
Coach Jim Matson from 25 News in Peoria. We cover Illinois State University. And Ryan Peaton, how much has him impact been for you at Ohio State, and how ready is he for Illinois State?
Oh, he's more than ready. He's more than ready. He's going to do a phenomenal job. He's going to do a phenomenal job for that program. It was a great hire. I know it's a great job. He's excited about it. He's obviously focused on us right now, but the community will love him.
Chris, EJ's done a lot of great things in his career, and we know that he's going to be moving on at the end of the season. But when you think about what is still out there for him at this level, how much does NCAA tournament success matter to a player's legacy?
Well, I think it does. It does, and I think he recognizes that. And obviously, 1 year got taken away from him. when he played an important role on that team. So he would have been an important role on that team playing in NCAA tournament games. And I think that would have given him valuable experience. But sure, there's no question. I think that's the case. I know he's excited and looking forward to the opportunity.
Stephen Means, Cleveland.com. Trying to follow up on that. I don't think we've asked you since it came out. EJ made an All-American team. Just looking back on his career, and I know it's not over given what you guys are going to do tomorrow, but just looking back on from the moment you recruited him to now and how his career's kind of turned out here.
Yeah, no, so proud of EJ. Yeah, so proud of EJ for the career he's had, but for the year he's had and his ability to get better. He's improved by almost every metric. And, you know, we talked about his growth as a player. I'm really happy for him. I'm proud of him. It's a great honor. You know, we had some great individual honors on this year's group, and I'm happy for those guys that earned that because they certainly did. You know, when you get a postseason award in any league, you've earned it through your play throughout the season. So couldn't happen to a better kid.
Steve Hellwagon, 24/7 Sports. I asked the players about what the mood around the team's been the last 3 weeks when some things maybe didn't go your way. Just they said you and the coaches have done a good job of keeping it positive, learning from the mistakes, and trying to spin it forward in a positive manner. Just what part of you has to be the sports psychologist to kind of manage this team through this lull and get them back up for this event?
Yeah, you know, I probably got to be a sports psychologist for myself first. After that, yeah, that's I think there is a dynamic of that, Steve, for sure. You know, there's a perspective required in college basketball that's like different in college football because of the number of games and the league play. You know, you try to do, you know, exactly what they said. You try to make the necessary improvements. I don't think you can ignore the things that need to be improved, and yet at the same time bring perspective to your group and hopefully an optimism of what's ahead. That's been what we've tried to do.
Last question for Coach.
Chris, you've got a lot of guys that don't have NCAA tournament experience. You do have a lot of tournament experience. When you go into this, how much do you have to talk to the guys who haven't been here about, sure, every game, 40 minutes is a roller coaster, but like this is a completely different animal that you have to deal with emotionally?
Yeah, we'll talk about it. I'll share some of my experiences. Yeah, we'll discuss it. You're right. I think there's an experience element that's different with obviously the Loyola team than what our team faces. So we'll talk about it. We won't dwell on it too much, but we'll talk about it. Maybe try to give them a couple things to help kind of free their minds a little bit.
Thank you, Coach.
Okay, thank you.